Hidradenitis suppurativa. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's also called HS. That's what I'm going to be calling it today. The Cleveland Clinic defines HS as an autoinflammatory condition that attacks hair follicles, causing painful, recurring abscesses in sweat-prone areas of your body. Doesn't that sound fun? If you have HS, I am so sorry. I do too. I'd seen this clip from a news station of this one lady that was sharing her experience about HS, bringing awareness to it almost. The other hosts that were there on the news channel were kind of acting in disgust about it. If you know what it is, or you have it, or you know somebody that has it, it's not the best thing in the world. Honestly, it's quite the opposite. But I feel like the more people know about it, the more understanding people would be. So I just wanted to share this part of my life and share this part of my testimony, even though it is admittedly pretty uncomfortable to talk about, but we're all about vulnerability here. So I just wanted to share my experience with you. So if you knew me in high school, you would probably recall that my skin was not great. It appeared that I had some really severe acne, which isn't entirely wrong, but I'll get to that. Especially my senior year, I was really struggling with it. I had never had the best skin ever since like middle school. I always had like a little bit of acne, you know what I mean? But when I was a senior in high school, my acne had started to get really bad. And before that, I would just get these like random painful pimples like in my armpits or like where my leg meets my abdomen or like on my chest, on my back. It wasn't until my senior year that it started appearing on my face and on my neck. I thought that it was acne, but I would get it sometimes on my scalp. It was not comfortable at all whatsoever, but I had gone to the dermatologist, and after trying all of these like topical creams and ointments and these like antibiotics and anything else that's under the sun, nothing had worked, clearly. We had decided for me to go on to Accutane, which I don't regret going on Accutane, but let me tell you, my experience with it was not good. The end result was pretty alright, but I was struggling. I can't lie to you. So if you don't know, at least back when I was taking it, and I had started taking Accutane early 2018, I want to say. I'm not sure if it's this way now, but you would have to go and get blood work done before they would refill the next month's worth of pills. And you had to take these like formal quizzes or questionnaires online just to agree that you know what you're taking. You know that if you get pregnant while you're on it, your child will be subject to major birth defects and how it'll affect your body and all of this stuff, just so they can approve another refill of the medicine. It was pretty tough. It's pretty tough on people's bodies. And again, I don't know if it's like that now, but back then, they were very clear of the risks of this medicine, and one of the known side effects was depression. I knew that going in there. I was always the person to kind of be like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Do you remember like around that time in like 2018, there was that meme of the dog that was sitting in a house like at a kitchen table and there's like fire in the background? That was me constantly. Back when this was a part of the normal slang, I would say that that was my spirit animal. Can't lie to you. But I felt like I embodied that. Even if I felt like my world was falling apart, I'd be like, everything's fine. It's okay. All good. So I was on Accutane for about 8 months. I don't remember exactly. My skin had gotten better. It had gotten worse before it had gotten better. During all of that, it was like my skin was horribly dry. There wasn't enough water that I could drink or enough moisturizer that I could use that would heal that or fix that. I felt like my skin was paper thin. It was like I would lay down at night and I would just feel my skin ripping. It was really bad. And to make matters worse, I was in orchestra at the time, and I play a brass instrument, and another one of the amazing side effects of Accutane is really chapped lips. And, you know, to play a brass instrument, you definitely need your mouth. I was going to college for music education and to play my instrument. I had a scholarship for it and everything. Like, that was my whole life trajectory, I thought. But every time I played my instrument, my lips would just crack and they would bleed. So I developed a really intense addiction to chapstick, but that also didn't really help too much. So fast forward, after I was done taking Accutane, let me just say, While I was on Accutane, my face was breaking out, my neck was breaking out, I had flare-ups behind my ears, I had it on my scalp, on my back, both like my shoulders, upper back, middle back, lower back. It was everywhere. Everywhere that you could have this, I felt like I had it. But again, at the time, my dermatologist was just chalking it up to acne. And so I was like, man, I was dealt a bad card. My skin is really bad. But fast forward a couple of years, in 2021, I had gone to an OBGYN, and it was a new provider that I hadn't been to before, and she had just asked me, she was like, have you ever been checked out for your HS? And I was like, my what? And she was like, hidradenitis. And it was just so nonchalant, and it was so matter of fact. I had no idea. I'd never heard of it before in my life, and I was shocked. I was like, huh? And she was like, yeah, I see it all the time. I'll write you a referral. Having already been on Accutane, and I felt like every other sort of acne solution under the sun, and it wasn't even purely acne. You know, I'm not a dermatologist, I'm not a scientist or any sort of healthcare provider, but from my high schooler perspective back then, it was like any of my friends that had been on Accutane, their skin had gotten better and it was clear and they were done. But it was like, yeah, my face stopped having flare-ups, but my skin wasn't good, you know? It was still really dry. I would still get acne. I would still have these flare-ups on the other parts of my body, and it was like it wasn't done even though I had gone through that whole course of Accutane. So when my OBGYN had told that to me, I was just, it was like a weight was lifted. I still had genuinely no idea what that was other than the tiny little description that she had given me, but I had this sense of hope. I wasn't super into my relationship with God at that point, but I had been praying for some sort of answer because I was miserable. Now I know that because of HS, that was the thing that was making it painful to move my arms. It was making it painful to sit or to stand or to walk or to move my head or lay my head down. It was unbearable pain almost constantly. I was a little bit of a hypochondriac too, so I was like, I'm dying. Nobody ever told me that there was another option besides acne. So I had gotten on Humira. I was prescribed that, and it made my flare-ups of HS few and far between. Like, I was on cloud nine. My skin had gotten so clear, and I was on that for a few months. It was one of those little injector pens in my brain, kind of similar to like the style of an EpiPen where you like put it in your thigh and you click the button. This was already after I had been on it for several months. I had done it and I had scared myself to death. I don't know why, but it freaked me out. So then I just stopped taking it. And I've been off it ever since. And that was in early 2023. I've been off of it for 2 years. I still get flare-ups, but it's so infrequent. I just never thought that that day would come, because it used to be that every single moment I was in pain. You know, like I would move a certain way and my skin would tear open and I'd just be bloody. Like, a little bit graphic there, but like my skin was that bad. I'm just so thankful that the Lord was looking out for me and that there was an answer, and that somehow I just happened to go to an OBGYN that had seen it a million times, when I've never met another person that has HS, let alone somebody that would be like, oh yeah, I know what this is, without me having to bring it up. Thanks be to God, because if you have HS, you know how bad it is. The only word I can think of to describe it is excruciating. It's just awful. I was left with some pretty, as my current dermatologist would like to put it, pretty severe scarring, which is not a lie. Like, I have scars on my face and on my chest, on my back. I have some under my arms. You know, everywhere that I've had a flare-up, there is a scar, some way, shape, or form. And they all used to be a lot more noticeable than they are. Like, they're still noticeable for sure, but they're not as prominent. I used to be so insecure over the scars that were on my body. It was like years that I went that I would only wear t-shirts. It had to have a neckline up to here, and I had to have sleeves, and It was like, that was my only option. It was like, I can't show anybody that I have these scars. What are they going to think? And I still do have a ways to go in my confidence and in my healing from that pretty traumatic skin experience. But I want to view those scars as a testament to coming out of the other side of that journey. When I was first dealing with it and trying to figure it out, even though I didn't know the extent of what it was, it felt hopeless. Like I thought that I was just going to be stuck in that forever. And I know in my research, it sounds like a lot of people have felt the same way, because it feels endless and it just keeps happening, and the pain is just absolutely unbearable. Some people have to skip going to work or skip out on their normal routines just because of the level of pain that they're in. But God delivered me through it. Even though I still do deal with some flare-ups every once in a while, it's a lot more manageable now. And I didn't have any dietary changes or anything like that. I tried going gluten-free for a while, but I didn't notice a difference. And it wasn't until a couple of months ago that I was able to try a different face wash for the first time. All that to say, if you have Hidradenitis suppurativa, or HS, or however you pronounce it, you're very strong, and you are beautiful, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God has a plan for you, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, whether it feels like it or not right now. God has got you in the palm of his hand, and whether you feel close to him, you don't know him, you feel far away from him, you don't believe in him, whatever it is, God's got you. And he rejoices in creating you. And even though it's hard right now, and nothing that I can say will take away that pain that you're experiencing, I do just want to encourage you that you are loved and your labor is not in vain, and there will be good that comes out of this, whether it's you giving support to other people that are dealing with the same thing and giving them community, or you get to be on the other side of it too. No matter what it is, the possibilities are endless, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there is hope for you, even if it feels hopeless. HS is a beast of a skin disorder, but you are very strong. If you know somebody with HS, give them a big hug. Because, truthfully, it's brutal, both mentally and physically. One thing that I did learn in this journey of figuring out that diagnosis and learning about it as I go is being able to rely on somebody. There is somebody out there that will listen to you and be there for you and be that shoulder to cry on. Whether that person came to mind immediately or not, I know at the very least, God is always there for you, and he's ready to hear from you, and he will give you that support and that comfort and that peace that people that have this diagnosis definitely need some more of. I know that my moments of peace and contentment and reassurance were few and far between, because I didn't like what I looked like when I looked in the mirror. I didn't have good mental health at the time. I felt like my whole world was falling apart because I couldn't play my instrument, and that was the only thing that I had dreamed of doing for years and years. But God delivered me through it, and I would not want my life to look any other way than it does right now, and I'm so thankful for that. Even though HS, definitely a nuisance, I'm so happy that it's given me the opportunity to connect with people and connect with you, even if I don't know you. If you need some support, or you are dealing with HS, or you know somebody that's dealing with it, definitely let me know in the comments. But I just want you to know that you are loved and cherished by the creator of the universe. God is so thrilled to hear from you. You are beautiful, fearfully and wonderfully made, and God calls you his beloved. He cares for you so deeply, even if you're going through hard times right now. There's nothing that you can do that can put a wedge between you and God. He loves you endlessly. Thank you for tuning in. God bless y'all.